Being a comedian in this day and age is rough. People are getting more and more sensitive to certain topics, and jokes are becoming stale. Beneath me, this city screams of individuals who think they can pin the blame on something they've never had. But what happens when the comedian runs out of jokes? What happens when people stop laughing? What happens when people start to see the truth behind the backstabbing, behind the humor, behind the smooth talking and depression? All of a sudden, the comedian starts to drift from comedy and into politics. Ethan understood me. YouTube is savage in nature. No matter how much you try to dress it up, to disguise it, Ethan saw YouTube's true face, chose to be a parody of it. A joke. I heard a joke once. Man goes to doctor, says he's depressed, says life seems harsh and cruel, says he feels all alone in a threatening world where what lies ahead is vague and uncertain. Doctor says, treatment is simple. Great clown Pagliacci's in town tonight. Go and see him. That should pick you up. Man bursts into tears, says, but doctor, I'm Pagliacci. Good joke. Everybody laughs. Roll on snare drum. Curtain.
Hey there everyone, Noble here. Now, before you click off the video and hit the dislike button, hear me out, okay? I am a huge fan of H3H3. At least, I was a huge fan of H3H3. Oh, god damn it! Okay, no, but for real, let's get right into the introductions. H3H3 Productions consist of the husband and wife duo of Ethan and Gila Klein. Their content mostly consists of reaction videos and sketch skits in which they satirize internet culture. But unfortunately, as of recently, they've been focusing more on their podcast, the H3 Podcast. But we'll get to the podcast real soon. Now, I have nothing wrong with their content from back in the day, but as of recently, I've started to come across problems in the way they produce a video. As of recently, they've been caught up in some controversies that we'll go into later. But for now, let's get into the second chapter. Ethan and Gila Klein are seen as colossal titans in the YouTube realm. The voice of reason, if you may. Or at least they were. See, back in the day, Ethan and Gila used to have this certain charm in their video. They were just two normal people making reaction videos about certain channels and making fun of them in a comedic way. But as of recently, the word comedic seems to have been lost in their dictionary. What I mean by this is that they've been going into more the realm of politics and specific controversies than actual comedy. Comparing one of their videos back from 2015 to now, you can obviously see that there is a weird style change to Ethan and Gila's content. From making reaction videos on pranksters to straight up talking about politics and religion.
And you're not all in on it? Not just covering it up.
Who is all in on it?
Everybody!
What do you mean?
Everybody.
It seems that their newer content has less emphasis on pointing out obscure details with other videos and just going mainstream with news everyone hops onto. Now, I have no problem with wanting to voice your opinion on something, a specific topic, or anything, but seeing as though H3 has such a huge following and a very easily influenced amount of people, it starts to raise concern. Back when people started to call him the voice of YouTube, he started to grow an ego. Now, the problem with having an ego is that it can get the better of you, and you start to voice your opinions more and more. Now, whether you agree with those opinions or not is irrelevant. But trying to push an agenda on a comedy channel with such a huge reach, it starts to get kinda dangerous. Now we're getting into that good shit. As of recently, H3H3 has been given some questionable opinions on certain topics, going in with these certain topics with not a lot of info at all.
87-year-old woman tased.
Wait, what's your title? What are we, 2 seconds into it? What's the title say? Grandma slammed by police. Huh, okay, moving along.
Anyways, there's a lot to go over in this topic, so I'm going to try my best to go over most of it. Not all of it, but most of it, mind you. The reason why is because there's a lot to go over. First, let's go over an 87-year-old woman who was tased, or Ethan has titled it, Grandma Slammed by Police. Now, before the video even started, Ethan addressed the actual real title that the news article used, but he apparently just named it Grandma Slammed by Police. I don't know why. Maybe that comes up when you search something on YouTube more frequently than a grandma being tased. I don't know. Anyways, if he's doing it in a sense that, hey, this is comedy, that's kind of moronic once you think about it. Anyways, before the video even progresses, he starts to give his own opinion on the police force in America, saying that he respects what the work they do. Pretty harmless so far, right? Well, then he said this.
Let me say this, okay? I respect police officers. I respect the job. I respect what they do.
Thank you.
But
I have a lot of buts. First of all, you signed up for a dangerous job, and you're well compensated.
You did sign up for a dangerous job, but just because it's a dangerous job doesn't mean you have to unnecessarily put your life or limb in danger.
Thank you! You didn't sign up to become a firefighter just to be burned alive whenever you're trying to save someone in a house. You signed up so you can protect people, and to protect yourself. Also, I have another gripe with this video, so check out the next part.
You can go work in a fucking cafe if you don't want to be in harm's way. Okay? Nobody asked you or forced you to sign up to be a cop. The same goes for the military, and I'm sorry, but my opinions are the right opinions, and if you disagree with me, you're just clearly wrong. Why do...
All right, okay, so you're one of those people who says you signed up for the job when it gets dangerous. What are you complaining about? Again, you're not signing up to get hurt. It's inherently dangerous, yeah. It doesn't mean that you signed up to get hurt, if that makes any sense. Police officers sign up to protect others. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't protect yourself when things happen.
Oh man, what a dick. Now, for brevity's sakes, let's get on over to another opinion he had about the Catholic Church. Now, I'm Catholic, but I'm not really that religious. But having grown up in a multi-religious island, you start to learn a bit of every religion. But what Ethan said in this video made me question him and his authority to give his opinion on his fan base.
yeah,
How can you talk about Pizzagate when the Catholic Church is literally a satanic cult? You can have that many pedophile priests, you're covering up and you're moving them around, and you're not all in on it? Not just covering it up.
who is all in on it?
Everybody.
What do you mean?
Do I sound like a conspiracy theorist? Like, I'm basing it on something.
Well, I'm not sure. What are you?
Everybody's
What do you
in on
mean
it,
by
bro.
everybody?
The fucking everybody. The whole church. A system. It's basically... What exactly does the Catholic Church do except rape kids? I mean, what exactly would you say you do, Catholic Church? I'm repulsed. Like, I think it's time to close it down. I think it's time to lock shop up on that church.
Can you shut the fuck up for the rest of your life, you a dumbass bitch that tries too hard?
Now, as I've stated before, I'm Catholic, and my mom's Catholic, and my dad's Catholic. So this topic and this opinion that he gave on will kind of hit us in a pretty hard way. Now, I'm not stupid. I know there are some evil priests out there. But I also know that there are even more good priests. So I feel a little insulted when he said that the Catholic Church doesn't do anything. Whatever happened in Pennsylvania was seriously messed up, weird, and disgusting. But because of that, it doesn't represent all of the Catholic churches, or it doesn't even represent the Catholic Church at all. But you guys need to remember something. In his opinion, he didn't really point out the priest from Pennsylvania. He pointed out all of them. He said everybody.
Everybody.
Now, imagine having a fan base that big and saying that. Now, it may cause some problems in the way people start to think. Anyways, let's move on with the topic. I know you clicked on the video for H3H3 and not religion, but I thought this was pretty important to point out either way. Oh boy, that podcast sure was a shit show, am I right? Now, the H3 podcast is known to have, celebrities and YouTubers from time to time. This is info you already know. Now, for those of you that don't know Bill Burr is a comedian that was brought onto the podcast. Throughout the podcast, you can obviously tell that Ethan was nervous. Why was he nervous? Was it because he had stage fright? Was it because he drank too much coffee that morning and is now paranoid? Maybe, but no. The answer is superiority complex. Now, in the past, Ethan had a podcast with YouTubers such as William Osman and Jimmie Lee. But we'll get into that later. But this was one of those times where Ethan felt smaller, less important than the actual person in the podcast, Imagine this, you're so used to bullying smaller content creators and pushing them around that once someone who is somewhat famous and somewhat self-aware of what you're doing, your ego starts to take a hit, even before the fight happens. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what happened during the podcast with Bill Burr. The best way to describe this entire podcast was skipping and getting to the final boss before the game even started.
Like I have a daughter, and she ended up biting one of my friends.
Whoa.
I always keep thinking of that moment when she raced at him. There was a coffee table. I should have kicked it because she was on like the hardwood floor. I would have knocked her down,
Right.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh, it seems like you're in love with your daughter, hearing you talk about her on the podcast.
Jesus Christ. Well, you're pretty perceptive. It's like you care about your own child.
You're talking about, you want your 2-year-old daughter to get Krav Maga so she can knife a dude's neck.
I have a question about your you being a dad and having a kid. We have been trying to have a kid, and the longer it takes, we also kind of second question the whole thing. Like, should we have a kid?
Then quit.
Yeah.
But don't make everybody else around you suffer. Like it's kind of like it's bullshit.
Did you? Well, it sounds like it was stressful, but not suicidal.
You're a really cynical guy, man.
I thought you were down. I thought you were going to be down.
That is a lot. All right, regroup. Here
Where were we?
Bring Jackie Gleason.
What was going through your head?
I like lions killing hyenas because I feel like rapists, depending on how well they're endowed, at some point they're going to have to get in close.
God, okay, keep it together. Yep. And look at him now. Who's fucking laughing now?
I guess they are.
No, I'm kidding.
This is going to end up on YouTube.
Yeah.
The podcast was a complete shit show. If you want to go watch it, I would not highly recommend it. It's not really worth your time to watch the podcast, but it has some pretty good goofs and gaffs in there, and seeing Ethan sweat, it kind of touched my heart, you know? Our next person of choice we'll be talking about is William Osman. William Osman is an engineer and a YouTuber who makes really creative gadgets such as the screaming controller, a controller where you have to scream in it for it to work.
Okay, yeah, so if I wanna thunder This is awesome.
But Noble, what does this have to do with H3H3? Don't worry, we're getting into that. For those of you that just found out who William Osman is, it's important to note that a few months ago, his house burned down. A pretty devastating experience for anyone.
Sit there and think about, like, what do I do? I mean, it's a very lost feeling. It's not a good feeling. It's, imagine everything stripped away. You don't know what you're doing the next day. You don't know what you're doing the next week. You don't know anything. And like, you don't know where you're going to live. Like, my parents were out of the house too. We were living, my whole family living in the motorhome because the neighborhoods were locked off with National Guard and like armed Humvees and stuff. So it's a very sort of like, it's just like lost. You feel very lost.
But before his house burned down, he was working on a project where he was designing and making a coughing beanie that could move. This beanie was specifically made for Ethan.
All right, well, yeah.
Oh,
Shit.
we got sound effects.
Turn it up, Dan. Get it on there. Good now.
The video was also made for a video, and it garnered quite a lot of attention. With the attention that the video had, after 5 months, he was invited onto the H3 podcast. However, there was one problem with this. William was not a big YouTuber. What I mean by this is that he only had 660k subs at the time when he was invited. Now, 660k subs is by no means small. I just want to say that right now. But compared to the other guests that Ethan had brought onto the podcast, William was the first YouTuber by himself with less than 1 million subs on the show. Now, the reason why I say that is because there was actually another YouTuber with less than 1 million subs on the podcast. And that would be Eric from Internet Comment Etiquette. But Eric would always be paired up with Jack's Films. So Eric was kind of a side dish to a full meal like Jack. In other words, Eric was kind of tagged on. Anyways, back to the main issue. William was invited to an episode of the podcast, if you could call it that. He only got 20 minutes out of the whole 1 hour. And the podcast wasn't even titled featuring William Osman. It was titled H3 Podcast number 68, Booty Doctor Suit for Filming During Surgery, and Coughing Beanie. After this, it was changed to add William Osman into the title. Also, it was titled in such a way you couldn't even see Will's name. Kinda disrespectful once you ask me, but what was more disrespectful is the fact that when he wanted to stay, they kinda forced him to leave.
Figure that out the hard way, or was that?
I've never set it on fire, but I don't imagine that it would go.
Some things you just know.
Yeah, some things you just know. All right. God bless, man. Thank you. So I don't know how
All right.
to transition because we don't have a break.
Do I need to leave now?
You don't have to. You want to hang out?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And not only that, but Ian somehow got invited. You look nervous, Ian. You got invited to the Kanye listening party, of which you're wearing swag now. Yeah. Well, we got to play the song when Ian enters.
I know, but we got help.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Oh, my God.
I got to set up a 2-shot.
We got a 2-shot, right.
Is this live right now?
Do you guys mind? Yeah, we're live. Do you guys mind swapping out?
That's fine.
This is...
Oh, yeah.
This.
Yeah, because
We didn't plan to have 2 guests at once. Ian, or William, God bless you. Everybody, please check out William's channel. I'm going to put a link in the description. Don't leave. We'll hit chat after. I'm done. If you have time, we'll finish in like 15 minutes. Yeah. And we'll come hang out for a bit. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool. Yeah, please leave that there forever.
Yeah, right.
Forever. Okay, get that. Throw that out the window. All right, Ian, come on. Come get ridiculed.
Also, his 20 minutes really didn't have any substance to it. They talk more about his house burning down for a good 15 of his 20 minutes, about the travesty in his life that happened after. And after that, they just talked 5 minutes about Beanie. After they made some promises, to join Will on some shenanigans for videos, but ultimately, these never happened. Dickish on their parts, and sucks for William. He's a good YouTuber, and his videos are just top-notch. I would recommend go watching his channel if you haven't already. His channel should be in the link in the description down below, so that should be easier for you. Does anybody remember a time where YouTubers used to promote BetterHelp? Does anyone remember a time where BetterHelp was a lie and a con for money? I mean, to be honest, any sane person would have seen BetterHelp and thought, online therapy from a stranger on the internet? Sounds kinda risky. Well, unfortunately, no one thought about this until it was too late. No one except PewDiePie himself. Now, PewDiePie knew it was a scam from the beginning, but didn't want to express it because he wasn't really confident in his own opinion. But he did after the whole BetterHelp. Or until it was too late. Now, for those of you that don't know about BetterHelp, PewDiePie made a video pretty much exposing BetterHelp for being a lie that was too good to be true.
You were officially diagnosed by a therapist. Therapists should not diagnose you, by the way. And BetterHelp themselves say that, but still, apparently, it happens.
I never actually received any therapy. We just kept setting appointments and he just kept missing them and not giving me any warning or any real reason, and was really unprofessional in his messages. So I'm seeing BetterHelp everywhere and I'm getting flashbacks.
Obviously, if you meet a therapist face-to-face, you can still have bad experiences. But if BetterHelp themselves doesn't take any accountability of finding you the right therapist or any accountability for the actions of their therapist, then what's the point? What do they do besides charging you? It just came to my attention that I missed a portion of the terms of service. This one is deeply concerning. And guess why I missed it? They deleted it just a few days ago. How convenient. This one says that they don't guarantee the verification of the skills, degrees, qualifications, certification, credentials, competence, or background of any counselor. With BetterHelp, you'll be talking to professionals. Just beware that it's your responsibility to determine whether they are or not. It's your responsibility to determine whether they have any degree or qualification or certification or all these things. What does BetterHelp do besides selling you a product that doesn't exist, that they don't sell?
And it was! And that is how he got here. Now, Ethan saw this and shed his own opinion on BetterHelp. And to be honest, his opinion was kinda disappointing.
And so, first of all, I want to make clear. Okay, first of all, we had one sponsor with BetterHelp that was 2 months ago, and the topic of mental health was not brought up in association with our read at all.
Yeah.
And to the best of my recollection, I don't think that we even talked about it in that episode.
I don't think.
And it predated our update video when I talked about being depressed by a month at least. Okay. But here's where I think people got thrown off, because PewDiePie made a new video about it. And he goes through the terms of service and he points out a lot of questionable things, which is fine. And he doesn't like the service and he raises good points about it. But the way that he presented my involvement in it, I thought was a little misleading and a little out of context. And it made it look like I was way more involved with this company than I was. Or even that, it made it look like I used my being depressed.
Yeah.
What's the deal? And he says he didn't mean to make it look that way. And he made a comment trying to clarify, but the people that read the comments compared to the people that watch the video is very small, okay? Made.
So that it was kind
of... And I think that PewDiePie, who's the biggest YouTuber in the world, talking about this, people take it seriously. But I don't think... like this, it's a weird standard to make that you want the expectation that anyone you ever work with, you're reading the entire 20-page legal document of the terms of service. Like, I don't think very few people in the history of YouTube have ever read the terms of service. But from the flip side, think about it from their perspective. Someone like Boogie, Philip DeFranco, Bobby Burns, I don't know, Shane, everyone. Think of it from their side instead of being so cynical and thinking that it's this elaborate scam. To them, it's a win-win. And I think that people are being way overly cynical about this. And it's just another example of, like, I don't know. It just feels like one of these things that just making YouTube even more toxic. I think YouTube's gotten way too fucking toxic, way too overly cynical. And when you start throwing good, honest YouTubers under the bus, I think we need to reel it back a little bit.
Now, Ethan was more worried about being thrown under the bus rather than Felix's actual message that BetterHelp is just a shady company and shouldn't be advertised. Now, if memory serves me right, Ethan, you threw PewDiePie under the bus once, a while ago for the N-word dilemma. Does anyone remember that? No? Okay, here it is.
I don't think Felix is a racist person, but god damn, he really kind of just was really comfortable using that word. And look, if you joke around with your friends privately, we say offensive things privately when we're joking with our friends because we all find it funny for one reason or other. But goddamn, dog, you're freaking live streaming. And beyond that, he's freaking PewDiePie. He's the biggest YouTuber. He represents all of us. And he needs to be more responsible, especially after we all stuck our necks out to defend him. I love that I can just say it though.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't really say that. So wonderful.
Yeah. So now you're gonna get shit for it.
I feel like you're using it a little liberally.
I love saying.
Oh man, this man is so full of himself, it's almost borderline stupid. Felix didn't make his video to throw other YouTubers under the bus. He made it so he can show people how much of a shady company BetterHelp is. Ethan did throw PewDiePie under the bus when Felix was in a tough spot. Also, while we're at it, Ethan, you also criticized him for using the N-word. But I remember you using that word kind of like second nature, almost like a fountain of Dr. Pepper during one of your own podcasts. Also, speaking of Felix, that's our next chapter. Now, for those of you that don't know what happened with Felix a while ago, or well, it's kind of like common internet knowledge at this point, but PewDiePie said a pretty bad word during one of his live streams. Now, Ethan got wind of this and criticized him for using the N-word. But while we're at it, Ethan also used a pretty bad no-no word during one of his podcasts. A lot of people pointed that out, me included. If you can't dish out criticism, if you can't handle criticism from your own fans, why even dish it out? With this, we've reached our final chapter. Now, there is a lot of info that still needs to be addressed, but seeing as though I will not have time for these, I'll leave a link in the description of a video Chris made a while back on H3H3. For those of you that don't know who Chris is, here's his channel, I'm advertising it. Now, most of the things I said in this video, he kind of tackled in his own video. I guess you could kind of say I gave more info and updates to the current day right now, seeing as though that video was made 5 months ago. So I thought, hey, maybe things have changed, and in reality, it really hasn't. Also, I used references from Christopher Tom with his video called My Problem with the H3 Podcast. Now, both of those videos are way better than this one, so I highly encourage you to go watch all of those ones in the description. As for controversies that Ethan has done in the past, or literally right now, he's recently been on a controversy involving the Michael Jackson documentary that's been released. Now, this topic is a real gray area for me because I like Michael Jackson, and mostly because I feel like I'll be over in my head in terms of evidence and trying to come up with points on my opinion. But I'll leave you all with an opinion based on a few screenshots of tweets he's put out Now, mind you, these are tweets that were made after he watched a 3-hour-long documentary from witnesses with claims from almost a decade ago. So we should probably delete these tweets to not get into any further trouble. Now, I know I said this would be a final chapter, but I have some more extra info for you guys. It's not a lot, but it's something to consider. I've actually went onto his channel and counted the amount of videos he's posted this year alone, and the results aren't reassuring. On January 4th, H3H3 Productions have put out 8 videos. Most of these videos are barely 15 minutes long. And some are just mainstream schlock, so take it with a grain of salt as you want. He really isn't innovating in terms of content, and really content originality isn't really there. January 25th, 2019, the H3 podcast has posted 9 podcasts since then. These podcasts are more than an hour long with tons of planning and staging whenever there's a guest on. Now, this is just my opinion. I know I'm not supposed to put my opinion, but only facts because I'm Ben Shapiro, but hear me out. In terms of content-wise and uploads on their main channel, they're starting to lag behind. If I look at a video from a year ago, you can obviously see the difference. Now, I know I don't want to be the guy that pulls out the I like the older version of the YouTuber card, but for someone like Ethan, his content is becoming stale. And he's doing more podcasts than his actual videos. And I hope he and his fans start to see that. His content is starting to go a little bit downhill in terms of just trying out new things. Okay, no, but for real, that's gonna be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This one took me a while because of the research and because there was a ton of info, and also because I was kind of nervous to make this. I was scared because I'm talking about a bigger YouTuber, and I don't know what kind of people I may attract to this video because of that. But hopefully I attracted people that won't just leave dumb, stupid comments like this one that provide no info whatsoever. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you do, please like, comment on the videos, watch this video, friends, on Facebook, and Twitter. I'll see you guys when I see you guys, hopefully real soon. But until then, don't worry, I'm gonna make more videos. I've just been on a break. I'm trying to get my life together and shit. Well, not really get my life together, but I'm trying to get a job and shit. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys hopefully real soon. And if you watched it this far, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys hopefully real soon. Till then, see ya, bye.